Episode 1, SportsCaster.com's Open Mic, the podcast. Detroit artist DL Jones with an original cut, welcoming you all into the inaugural episode of Open Mic, the podcast. Cooper Schoenberg to my right, Carter Lutz to my left. Fellas, how are we?
We're here. We're here to fear. It feels good. So how are we feeling? I think we're feeling amazing.
Feeling dangerous.
This is something new, and this is something fun that we've been looking forward to for a long time. And especially just after listening to DL, I'm fired up right now. How do you feel?
Boy.
Feeling really good. And the three of us, we talked about it a couple months ago, a year and some change. We said three of us sat down for an interview with Johnny, and now we're here doing a podcast together. It's special.
It's full circle.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna throw our voices into the mix. Obviously, with the podcast scene, and we did terrestrial radio for a long time with the open mic format, and now an opportunity to attract a different audience, and it gives us an opportunity. I know you guys had your podcast live and uncut, and we can cover a lot of ground. That's what we want to do, obviously, throughout the course, as long as we do this. Yeah. And I think right now, when you look topically, I'm bummed. As I know we're all bummed, because the Detroit Pistons are currently not in the NBA postseason.
You didn't have to bring it up.
I know. Well, we have to bring it up.
Yeah.
The bottom line is they had an opportunity. You got Game 7 at home, everything laid out in front of you. But Cleveland Cavaliers came in and they ended the dream. It's a great time of year. Obviously, baseball's in full swing, but you've got hockey postseason. And then with the NBA playoffs underway, how do you like the way that the finals have, now that you've come off the disappointment of Detroit not being in the Eastern Conference Finals? What do you make of the scene right now?
Well, and it still stings. We're recent college grads, and on my last day,
we're mature now, by the way.
We're mature-ish, but we still got room to grow.
Yeah.
But on my last day, said goodbye to the place I know and hold near and dear to my heart, and said goodbye to my friends, and sat by myself for 6 hours in the car. But at least I have the Pistons game to look forward to. Oh, wait, we lost by 31, and our season's done. But you know what? Looking on to bigger and better things, control the controllables. Don't let the uncontrollables control you. Love that quote. And looking at what's in front of us, a 22-point comeback with 8 minutes left in the Mecca. And you can say what you want about Knicks and Knicks fans, high market team, obnoxious, whatever it is. That game was amazing. And on the other side, I think it's even better where that game 1 of the Western Conference Finals, seeing what the alien did, himself, and to Shea, the back-to-back MVP, and to Chet Holmgren, a rival in a way. It's shaping up to be really fun. Whatever it produces for the NBA Finals, I know is going to be great. And for what it is right now, there's a lot to look forward to.
Certainly, Cooper hit the nail on the head. And looking at that West, we haven't seen the two titans of the NBA really collide since the Cavs and Warriors did. It just feels like we're in a time now where we're going to see Wemby and SGA go head-to-head for many years to come. But it's still exciting, and the NBA playoffs, which kind of were up and down, I feel like the last couple of years have some juice to it, and I feel like it starts with Victor Wembanyama and what he's been able to accomplish early in this series.
I think the bottom line is when we talk about generational talent, and obviously, I'm a couple years older than you guys, just a couple. And when you talk about generational players, we're getting an opportunity. I watched, from his rookie season until now, LeBron James. And now we have this next wave of it being a Victor Wembanyama. I didn't get a chance to watch somebody like a Wilt Chamberlain play, but he's such a unicorn or an alien or whatever you want to call him. He's just such an anomaly to the game that now that San Antonio, maybe you look where they were just a couple of seasons ago, they hit right on the draft. Now they've got the pieces around them. They have great coaching. And now you say, well, how long is San Antonio going to be the team to beat out West? Obviously, Oklahoma City has not been dethroned just yet. But that's what makes it exciting, because this could be another San Antonio Spurs dynasty.
It makes it really exciting when you have a guy that's 7'5", pulling up from 32-plus feet, right where Curry did it in 2016. Little Mike Breen double, bang, bang. and with the game on the line, 105 to 108, ended up going to overtime, beating that Thunder team that hadn't lost all playoffs, was 8-0 going into that first game of the Western Conference Finals, and he did it. He put his team on the back. Steph Castle, De'Aaron Fox out. Not really, much play from Keldon Johnson and Vassell and Champagnie. This guy did it. 41, 24, 3 blocks. It's unbelievable, and we love to be fans of the Pistons and to love with who we got. But I find myself talking about Wemby. I get passionate. I like feel something for this guy. I don't know what it is. Let's relax a little bit. But it's just, I've never in my life, and I don't think you, who has a couple years on us, and even our parents, they've never seen a player like this in the NBA, let alone any sport anywhere.
Well, Johnny said unicorn. Johnny said anomaly. And you say those words, I think of Shohei Ohtani in sports when those words come up to describe someone. And it feels like he saved baseball, let's be honest. Obviously, the rule changes played a part, but he's brought something to the game that we can't even describe and has brought such a following with him. What do you think of the Victor Wembanyama, Shohei Ohtani comp? You close to the Pistons and the Tigers. Fair. Could he change the NBA for good, save the NBA in a way? Because the NBA ratings and whatnot, things have been going down somewhat, and there hasn't been as much juice as we saw when LeBron and Steph were in their primes. Victor Wembanyama, to me, is going to save the NBA.
Yeah, I think you have to have frontline players that, in my opinion, they have to have universal appeal, global appeal. And so that's what Shohei Ohtani has in baseball. Victor Wembanyama has that. Obviously, he's got the international flair, and that's why I think there's so many people that are paying attention to the way he does it. Now, does he play the game the right way, like a Shohei? So when you talk about, I love the NBA product. Do I think it could be better? Do I think we could, get rid of some of the flopping and some of this, the foul baiting and all this other stuff that a lot of people look at it and they say, it's just not as watchable of a sport as it could be. I think with a guy like Victor Wembanyama, who says he wants to play the right way, do it the right way, if you're leading in that way and you are the voice and the face of the organization and of the league, then certainly has some staying power. When you look at the West also, I look at a team like the Dallas Mavericks, okay? The Mavericks right now looking for a head coach. They made some change up at the top with their leadership. Usai Majiri comes in, Jason Kidd out of a job, but they have, after trading away Luka Doncic to the Lakers, and the Lakers, obviously, we'll see what happens, with LeBron James moving forward. But if you look at a team like Dallas, they feel like they have a window to compete as well. And they've got a 19-year-old kid by the name of Cooper Flagg. And Cooper Flagg is another one of these faces of the future. And that particular organization, we talk a lot about just as being fans of the sport, but the industry of trading cards, the hobby, okay? People like to say it's not a hobby.
It's a life.
But it is a hobby.
It's a lifestyle in a way.
It's a lifestyle. And you're directly connected with it. I'm a big sports card trader myself. I have more than 40,000 cards. Yeah.
Come on.
Vito Babe Perilli.
Come on.
One of my favorite old throwback football cards. But that's what's interesting to me is that you kind of watch the trends of, it's very similar to a stock market where you say, who are some of the guys in the league, like a Wemby or a Cooper Flagg, Cade to some degree, Cade Cunningham, of who are the guys that are worth investing in that are going to have staying power in the league?
It's not something where every card is going to appreciate in value, right? If you were to buy a Zion Williamson card right when he got drafted for, you could have gotten it for $50,000. Well, now it might be worth less than $5,000. But when you're looking at a guy like Shea that we just talked about in that awesome Western Conference Final Series, he was drafted outside the top 10. Probably nobody thought that he was going to be a two-time MVP, NBA champion, and NBA Finals MVP. And now his card you could buy for, a pack of bazooka gum is now close to six figures. And I think that is what is most intriguing. And we talk about how baseball's on the rise and the NBA is on the rise from being a little stagnant and low for a little bit. But then you get guys like Wemby and Shohei. Well, it's their trading cards that are helping do that. It's people getting invested, not only through watching it, but monetizing the game in a way where people get really, really into it. I know I work with a company, shout out to Swish Breaks, that is able to do that on something like Whatnot, this streaming platform where you can sell these things, but people love it. And they hop on these things for hours and they're buying their cards and they're trading and they're selling and they're getting them graded. It makes you root for an individual player rather than a team that much more. And it makes the whole sport that much more interesting.
Well, and the hobby really exploded, right? Everything happened with COVID. So, for somebody like me, I started collecting trading cards when I was younger. If you talk to most guys on the street, everybody will tell you, I used to have an old 1952 Topps Mickey Mantle until my mom threw it out, when I went, to serve. And it's like, golly. But there was a stretch there where the industry, that was just mass-produced wax product, late 80s, early 90s. A lot of people have 40,000 baseball cards. And the bottom line is they're probably not worth much more than the cardboard they're printed on. But what's interesting is Cooper Flagg market right now in the trading industry, in the hobby, is one of the hottest cards to get. And I want to welcome in our first guest, our resident expert, who's housed in Portland, Maine, which is about 90 minutes from Newport, Maine, which is where Cooper Flagg calls home. Scott McDonald, welcome to the show.
Fellas, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here. I've been loving the conversation so far. You know I can't come without a prop. Take a look at this right here. Take a look.
Let's go.
There it is. Himself.
2025-26.
The main event.
That's all you need in Maine. You just need a little lobster roll and a little Topps Chrome with Flagg on the cover.
I'll tell you, folks probably found out about Cooper now, especially was like last year playing for Duke. But around here in Maine, guys, I mean, they've been talking about him since he's 10, 12 years old. I interviewed his AAU coach last year, and he showed me pictures, right? Like when he played for the Sharks. It's Cooper, and he's like twice as tall as all the other kids. And they just knew way back then that the sky was the limit for Cooper Flagg. And actually, I was down there. I was hanging with the AAU team last year during the NBA draft. They had a shoot around for all the players, and they put up the NBA draft like on the wall, right? And so all these kids are just watching wide-eyed, like this is what can happen when you get to the pinnacle of the game. And talking about sports card, the big question was like, all right, number one draft pick, how's he going to perform? And no doubt about it, I think many will agree, outperformed expectations. And as a result, his card market is just like going wild. Let me drop this stat on you. Most expensive Cooper card, what do you think?
You're talking straight numbers?
It's a limited 101.
Yeah, let me go.
Yeah, like sold
let me
3
go
weeks ago.
80K.
80K. What do you think?
I'm going to go 125.
I'll go even higher than 150.
If we get a PSA 10, auto, rookie, let's go 125.
What is it? He's
What
saying
do you got?
125.
What do you got, brother? It's
Oh my God.
366,000.
Wait, what is it? 366,000?
It was a 2025 Topps 101 auto rookie card, part of a release that just came out, not maybe a month ago. But like, guys, a lot of the cards haven't even been pulled yet. So that's just the latest amazing card. So we'll see. I think we'll probably get more that are even more expensive. That you were talking about baseball and how the hype is huge around baseball. I mean, one of the things too is you got to give credit to like Topps and Fanatics. They've been amazing at marketing, right? Like doing stuff like the NBA debut patch. That's where they put the patch on the uni for the very first game. They cut it up. They put it in a card. They auto. Last year, just to give you an example, I don't know if you saw this, but the Paul Skeens rookie card, that debut auto patch sold for over $1 million.
Unbelievable.
So Cooper had a patch on for his first game. That isn't out yet, but if you do the comps, what's that one going to go for? I mean, you'd have to think it'd go north of $1 million. So it's just pretty amazing.
I know, Scott, like I know you're a collector. I'm a collector, Coop, Carter to some degree. The bottom line is we're all looking for it's like a lottery ticket, So you're out there buying these hobby boxes or whatever. You're hoping you run into one of these $366,000 cards or $1 million Paul Skeens, but typically they're always one of one. So you got to catch that one. But that market is out of control right now.
It's out of control, and it's not just about, you showed that Topps box, which is awesome. It's not just about going out and purchasing where you can get the cards directly. It's going to like these companies where they're breaking the cards, doing it in a fun way. For anyone that might not know what that is listening, let's say you're in a break. There's 100 spots in a break. You buy a spot and you flip a card. Let's say you get Detroit, right? So every card that then is then pulled in that break, and you got Detroit, anybody from the Tigers, the Lions, the Pistons, let's say you pull a Cade Cunningham rookie, let's say you pull a Jahmyr Gibbs, that's your big break. That's what you can get. Sometimes you can be a little out of luck and not get anybody, and that's where you lose the money, but it's really all a gamble. Now, once you acquire, and it's a gamble buying a box and maybe you get nothing, or you can get that one of one that just went for $360,000+. Right. But that's the gamble. Now, what it really is you acquire this card, you obtain it, and you can hope where it's a stock, it can appreciate in value. It can depreciate 1,000%, but with Cooper Flagg, with Victor Wembanyama, with Shohei Ohtani, with these guys that's so rare and raw, from the Paul Skeens rookie card, auto, debut patch, those cards are now going for 7 figures, and those prices can rise. And I'm sure he's buying it for 7, hoping that he can, sell it for then 8 figures in 10 years when the guy's got 2 or 3 Cy Youngs. Think about what a Tarek Skubal rookie card would have been. Sure. This guy coming out of Seattle, nothing, and now he's a back-to-back Cy Young winner. It's cool, and what we talked about right before we had McDee's on is it not only makes you want to root for the team that you love so much even more, but these guys that you get in cards, they're a part of you. They're a part of your index now, and they're helping you, to make money. And I mean, for a lot of people, that's the goal in life. But I think that's what's so fun and unique about the whole card selling industry.
I'm really intrigued because I remember right after COVID, it blowing up. Yeah. Our buddies getting into it right away and selling cards even and going and getting them graded. And then it kind of took a dip a little bit, but now it feels like it's back. Is it in its biggest spot it's ever been, the market?
I think right now it is. But that's the beauty of growing the sport too, because again, the marketability of these players, it's not just, hey, I'm going to go get his jersey. It's, hey, I'm going to go get his best card, whether it's his rookie auto or if it's a debut patch card, whatever it is. I think that's what's growing the hobby back again, is because now the visibility, and obviously there's so many ways to consume the product. It's just different than it was back in the day. Like back when, when I was collecting cards, many years ago, and you had 50 cents, you went up to the drugstore and bought yourself a pack of cards. You're
not that old. Come on. I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
50 cents?
Yeah, we can get packs for 50
That's pretty cheap.
Scott, could we get packs for 50 cents growing up?
I got them at the G Flea, the Grafton Flea Market. You get some deals.
Hell
there,
yeah.
man.
Let me tell you back to that time. I love it.
Let me tell you the one issue, though, is when you go out
man.
So, it's kind of like putting something on layaway, except you get it right off the top. Like, they've got this thing called Klarna, which can really cause some problems because it's like, well, how much are you willing to spend? And next thing you know, well, you put it on a payment plan, and Klarna's coming to collect every couple of weeks. You're like, well, if I spread this thing out, you're like, well, it's still $366,000 that you've committed to spend on this particular card. How's your Klarna account, Scotty?
It's I think I'm maxed out, but I'm going to get there. Look, just because I put a second mortgage on my house doesn't mean I have a problem. You know what I'm saying? But you guys bring up a good point too, and about card breaks. I think also, that's a whole new thing that's helping this industry skyrocket because you're buying into the possibilities, right? That Cooper Monster card, that 366K card was in a break. That was the guys from Backyard Breaks. They seem to have a bunch of cards that get pulled. So, yeah, somebody bought into that break, and hey, they hit, lightning strikes, right? But you're buying into the possibility. It's a little bit of a mix of fantasy sports and sports cards, and you're getting in on the potential, which is awesome. Because I'll be honest, too, these cards are more expensive now to buy. Like, you can't sniff a Cooper Flagg rookie for under $1,000. And if you're a kid out there, it's a lot of snow to shovel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you're mowing a lot of lawns for a Cooper Flagg auto rookie card. So you got to try to find a way in somehow. And I think that's a huge part of it.
I think it's crazy with the possibility of, if you get a Cooper Flagg and that if you pull it, you could make at least 1,000, 4 to now well into the 6-figure range. I think the craziest thing is you talk about, back in the olden days, as you call it, you could buy it for 50 cents. Now you can't even buy the pack that Scott McDonald showed at the beginning of the show for less than $50. It's crazy just how much everything is evolving and how much people, not only the cards appreciating in value, but how much people appreciate the actual art of the card selling and collecting.
That's it. And I'll say this, and it's probably going to make some people cringe. So I'm more of a vintage collector. So, and Scott, you know this, a lot of the stuff that I collect is more like Mickey Mantle, Willie Mays, Ted Williams.
You can say the babe.
Roger Maris, Vito Babe Perilli.
There you go.
The problem is, it's not a problem for me, but I just like the way they look out of the slab. So if you're listening to this podcast, you're not really up to speed on what grading is. It's a grading, it's a numbered system. So if you get a gem mint 10, that's a perfect condition card. They go on down, near mint, mint, good, all on down. And it's got a number attached to it. But I crack the slabs of every card that I get and pull it out to make it raw. People pay big money to PSA and CGC and some of these other companies, Beckett Grading, to grade their card, to put an actual value on it. And then I buy it, and then I crack it out of the slab because I want to put it in my own cases.
I can't believe
it's probably a lot of people are like, what are you doing?
Me neither.
But I like them to look all uniform and unique. All right, Scott, before we let you go, I want to ask you a quick question. Cooper Flagg in the market. I know you've got some Cooper Flagg cards in your collection. Tell me your biggest hit right now of what you've got or who you think is high on it. And then maybe, as you were projecting, maybe a guy that you invested in from a trading standpoint that didn't quite pay out, and now you haven't quite cashed in.
Yeah, that's a good question, Kaner. And, I'll say, you can really get in on the ground level of some of these rookies. Last year, I'll give you a good example. Jason Mizorowski. You know what I'm saying? Throws heat, right? And like last year, he started to pop a little bit, and I kind of bought in before he had his first start, and it was a good time. I mean, that was like, you doubled your money on that one right out of the gate. So after that, things went a little downhill on things for me. I didn't make the wisest investments, but I'll tell you what, we're gonna find one right now.
Here we go.
We got a pack.
Oh, come on, let's go.
We're doing a break right here.
All right, we're pulling an auto flag right
here
now.
We go.
All right, rifle through.
So here we go. We're going. I'm trying to get these in for you. All right, Grayson Allen, Halliburton, Durant, Mikal Bridges.
Let's get a Cade Cunningham in there.
These are all the base card fellas. Let's get to the match.
Yep,
we got something going on here.
What is it?
Let's give a little. Oh,
who is it?
Someone who's never show. I've never heard of that guy.
We don't know how to pronounce it.
You win some,
and you lose some.
If you win some, you lose some. Hold on.
Okay,
Drews.
Let's cut off that ponytail. I don't like what he did to the Pistons.
Yeah, I don't either. All right.
He was a pest.
So nothing on this one.
You know what?
So I think that answers your question.
But that's the fun in it. This is the whole thing, right? I'm getting it now. I'm getting it now.
You got to know when to fold up. Okay, McDees, I think you're done. All right, because I've never seen that player you just pulled. I think what we're starting to get into is not only the card collecting business, evolution or whatever it is. AI is also, and I think ChatGPT just spat out a card and put it on there, and that's what you got. So congrats, you got a GPT Auto 1 of 1.
Well, but that's the risk, man. But it's like playing the market, right? Like anything else, you're trying to find, and you're hoping for that Grail card. And what happens more often than not, you don't get.
It's fun. It's a rush.
No, when you're ripping wax like that, it's an unbelievable rush. And there is somebody out. There's always somebody out there on the receiving end who pulls a Cooper Flagg or whatever, maybe a Kevin McGonigal we saw there recently in the baseball market. Guy who had only played 1 month in the majors, and already his like rookie parallel was like a $48,000 card.
Yeah,
I just haven't met anybody who's gotten it specifically. Scott, I thought we had a chance right there. We appreciate the effort of trying to pull it.
We're gonna keep trying. I mean, we got a few more packs to go. I mean, I will say this too. I pop into some card shows and you see these young kids. So I think that the hobby's healthy, right? Because I see these young kids, they're walking around with cases of cards that I can't even get close to. I'm like, where'd you get that? So you can see that, folks are really into it and these kids are into it, and it just pushes everything up. I mean, the hype is huge right now for these cards. So it's, it's a good place to be, and it's a lot of fun to get in on. So we're going to keep shooting.
I think
for
it's the best thing where I see things like Fanatics Fest, if you're familiar with that, where they get all these celebrities. I saw James Harden last year and Drewski and all these people. It's, they're making it funny.
Tom
Who wants
Brady,
to make money? But then I see these videos on like all those different social media platforms like House of Highlights and Overtime, whatever it is. And it's like a kid pulling a Cooper Flagg card or whoever it may be. And he literally breaks down and starts bawling his eyes out. I think that there's just such a big market. It's not just, people our age or your guys' age. It's kids getting in it because of their parents or whatever influences around them via social media and their teams. And they want, you're a diehard Pistons fan. You don't have much to, root for. Well, now you got a superstar in Cade Cunningham. I want his card. I want to go out and get it. And it's all about the chase, that feeling where you buy a stock, you hope it goes up. You make a sports bet, you hope it hits. You get a card or you buy a pack and you hope you pull that card that you've been yearning for so long. And I think it's just one of those things that keeps it fresh, keeps it special, and the whole age demographic is just so wide now. I think that's what makes it, the most interesting.
But before you go, what's one guy you're targeting? Maybe a young guy.
Here's the guys I go for. Like I go Ohtani, Brady, and now I'm going Cooper and LeBron. I just don't think there's any way you can get around that they're good investments. You know what I'm saying? I don't think you can go wrong. For me, those are my like my core four.
And I think sometimes that's it. You got to find proven commodity. Again, the LeBrons, the Tom Brady, to your point, like those guys have already set the market, established the market, and those cards are not going to, come back. But then it's like, who are the next young ones that you go and hit on? Even, I love Cade Cunningham. His market right now probably isn't where it can get to. Yeah. You start becoming all NBA, you get into a finals, right? It starts to change the calculus a little bit on that. But it is interesting because I think as much as we talked about Wemby, how Cooper Flagg is in that same, because you're talking so young and so much upside right now. it's interesting to see what the market is for those two players in particular right now in the NBA. Even Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, I'm not even sure if his card value. There is a lot of marketability, and sometimes, I don't know if you can like pinpoint why one guy is a little bit more marketable than the other, but it's just the way the industry works sometimes, where it's like, well, this guy might even have a better career. You're like, yeah, but his cards don't sell for, that's trying to find that exact crosshair of who the guy is.
Yeah, and can you speak a little bit about kind of the art of finding like the diamond in the rough? Is there something that you're looking for where maybe it's not a LeBron or a Shohei Ohtani? Maybe it's somebody a little more hidden that you could see has all this upside, where it was like Jokic starting off early in Denver, and now he's, one of the best players in the NBA. Is there anything that you look out for in particular?
I think the best entry point to that is baseball, right? And a release just came out not long ago. Kaner and I, we bought into a Bowman baseball.
We sure did.
Box, right, Kaner?
2 of them.
Yeah, and I mean, we're going through, and some of those guys, like right now, we have no idea who they are, but give it a year, give it a 2 year, 2 years from now, like all of a sudden they start to bubble and pop, and you're like, wait a minute, let me go back and look through all those Bowmans, because you can get those at a pretty good price. And there's a bunch of guys who could just all of a sudden come out of nowhere, and it's pretty cheap. I think that's probably the best bet if you really know your baseball and you're into scouting. Like last year, I did a lot of research to try to find some of those diamonds in the rough that you talked about. But that said, I think buying into that, and it's fun too because you get to rip it. Kaner and I, we ripped it right a couple weeks ago. We were looking for some Kevin McGonigal, but there's a whole bunch of possibilities in there. So for me, I think that's one of the best ways to get in. I think it's a little tougher to get in on football and basketball just because there's so much hype around. And football to me is a lot about QBs, and I made the mistake of going in and buying a lot of QBs like
Justin Fields
straight up out of the gate after COVID. It didn't end well, really, because it's just so volatile. But I would say Bowman baseball is probably the best way to go.
Yeah, because it's a lot of firsts, right? Like before Mizrowski became a household name, obviously we know about Skeens, but it's like the Connor Griffins, the Kevin McGonigals. Like, who are these younger guys? Like, we pulled a couple Josue Briseños out of there. We pulled a couple Max Clarks out of there.
And we like Josue.
And then it's just a matter of when do they get to the show.
Right, because you could get them before the minors.
That's
in every other sport, like they go straight into the league.
And I think that's his point. That's where it's like with baseball, even like we just saw, the Cleveland Guardians were in town, like some of those guys like Chase DeLauder, right? Parker Messick, Travis Bazzana. So a lot of these guys, when you're like, wait a minute, I might have pulled one of his first, meaning like his first card issue. And then once he actually does something in the show, now you've got one. You're like, oh man, I didn't realize I had it when I pulled it because he hadn't done it yet.
Yep.
All right. Always on the gun. Scott McDonald, appreciate the time. Best of luck, rip and wax moving forward.
Appreciate you.
I'm gonna go one more. I'll let you know how it turns out.
Okay, Scotty. All right, always good chopping it up with Scott McDonald. Again, he's got his finger on the pulse. As we talked about the hobby, the trading card hobby. Maybe if you look at it from a macro perspective, it's in as good a shape as it's ever been. I believe that, and obviously the card values continue to skyrocket. So if you're new to the hobby, or if you've considered looking into it, maybe you pulled a little something there from Scott McDonald.
I might go buy a pack right now.
I was gonna say you might be able to pull something out.
After seeing him pull that AI generated player, it just makes you think like, all right, maybe if that's the floor, what could the ceiling be? And that's what's got us.
Missed the old Beckett price guides. We could go right away and see like what that card was worth.
Yep.
All right, so Cooper Schoenberg, Carter Lutz. That's episode 1. Thanks for listening, everybody.
I want to get excited. I'm getting excited right now. I don't know what just happened in my body, but you said 1, but we're not done. And this is going to be fun. We're going to be implementing new segments. We're going to be having a lot of fun. We had the Bees Knees and Scott McDee's on today, okay? But we're going to be doing a little draft, we can take some ideas, a little Bob Does Sports, and part of my take. This is going to be fun. We'll be posting on our social medias, Cooper and Carter Live on a Gut. That's going to be changed to the new official Open Mic Instagram because this is a new chapter. We're graduates.
Let's open it up. We're mature now.
We're going 3 wide.
Yeah. And so this is going to be fun. Lutz, Kaner. Love the nickname, by the way.
All right, boys. Let's run it back next week. Appreciate it. As always, appreciate you guys tuning in. Open Mic, the podcast. We'll see you next time.